Welcome back to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. You know, the typical radio station website is either one of two things: an overcrowded mess of overwhelming content, or it's a barren wasteland that gives listeners no reason to return. Well, today we'll run down the essential elements that you need to craft the perfect homepage. Hi, it's Jim, and yeah, imagine walking into a store that sells everything from candles to car parts, but nothing is organized. You know, windshield wipers here, votives there, and then back to brake pads and bumpers, and then votives, and I mean, it's overwhelming, right? Well, that's precisely how a cluttered radio station website homepage feels to your visitors if you're trying to put everything there. On the flip side, imagine running into a radio station website with only the logo and a streaming button. Absolutely no reason to return to see what the station is doing or involved with. Want to dive deeper into something that you've heard on the station? Well, forget about it. It's not there, right? So there's no reason really to return. So there has to be a balance between giving enough reasons for your listeners to return without overwhelming them. Essentially, your homepage should guide your visitors to the most important actions that you want them to take while giving them enough reason to stick around in case they've already done whatever you want them to do, like enter a contest or something like that, right? By the way, an extended version of the show notes for this episode are on our website at skyrocketradio.com. Just click on the link below in the show notes. So the essential homepage elements is what we need to talk about to craft the perfect homepage that gets a solid first impression and then meanwhile keeps your audience engaged and wanting to come back day after day after day, because that's really what it's all about. All right, so number one is clear calls to action. Your homepage should answer one key question: what do you want your visitors to do when they get there? Is it listening live, joining a contest, subscribing to your newsletter, or checking out the latest events? Prioritize your call to actions, or CTAs, that align with your goals. And these will change from week to week. Some effective examples are like, click to listen live, enter to win the certain contest, enter to win the tickets or whatever. Join our newsletter for daily updates. Now, to grab attention, your call to actions should be bold and visually distinct. It's kind of separate from the rest of the entire page. But remember, they're going to be a nuisance to visitors who've already acted on these call to actions. All right. So if they come back and they see the exact same call to action day after day after week after week after month, then that's going to start affecting them coming to your website on a regular basis, because that's just something that they have to scroll by. They're already a part of your email list, or they're already listening live right now. That's something that they have to scroll past. So consider rotating multiple calls to action so that when the visitor lands on your website, they're just not seeing the same thing over and over and over again. Now, you do not want to say, okay, perfect place for a slider, right? Because it rotates and there's visuals and there, everything. No. Avoid using sliders. Numerous studies have shown over the past few years that they do not convert into clicks. People see those as ads, and so they just keep scrolling on past them. Most don't even read what is in the sliders. Also, avoid using your shows as a call to action. So you may think a good call to action may be, Jim Sherwood this afternoon, 3 till 7 on so-and-so station. It's not, it doesn't give me it's not a call to action. That's not something for me to do. There's not a specific reason listed why I have to listen. It's just so-and-so name at so-and-so time. And people scroll past those like crazy. And really, those kind of slides only go to slow your website down, because they're normally big images and they're just going to slow your website down. So, and if you have a slider with a bunch of those in it, please remove it from your website now, because they're not going to those pages, and it's just, all of that is just slowing your website down. All right. So number two is stream player. That's another essential element of your radio station homepage. Obviously, right? You want people to listen to your radio station. You want to be sure that it's easy to find, easy to use, above the fold. What I mean by fold is that when you first land on your homepage, the listen here, click to listen live, or the player itself should be easily seen. You want to be sure that it works across all devices and browsers. Be sure that it displays the song title, the artist, maybe the show that's currently on. All of this goes to entice listeners to stay engaged a little bit longer. Number three is you want to feature key content, not everything that the radio station is doing. Let's say you're a news website. You don't want to display the entire month of news articles there on the homepage. Yes, you do want to have latest news and events, things that the radio station is doing, but like 4 or 5 with links to get more. Upcoming shows, podcasts, highlight what's going to be on air next, maybe some on-demand items, local spotlights, hyper-local content that we've talked about previously on previous episodes that resonate with your listeners, like obituaries, mug shots. Some of those are very high-ticket, mostly visited pages on some of the websites that actually do those. It's going to help your website SEO if your users click around for your website for more news. You may think, okay, well, we're a news organization, so we want to show the last 20, 30 news items on our homepage. Well, suppose somebody heard about this and they went to your homepage and they found a specific news item that they're looking for. Boom, they're going to click on it. You may think, great, that's perfect because we wanted them to find it very easily. Yes, you do want them to find things very easily, but imagine now if they clicked on more news. They didn't find it exactly. They know it was there, and they knew it was on your website over the past couple of days, so they clicked on more news. That's one more click to increase your SEO for that more news page, and it's going to be one more impression that you can show your advertisers that paid to be on your website. So not only are you increasing your SEO by that additional click, you're also making your banner ads more valuable.
Looking to maximize your radio station's digital presence? Skyrocket Radio delivers custom websites and mobile apps built exclusively for radio stations by radio professionals. Our websites engage listeners and drive revenue, while the integrated apps keep your audience connected wherever they are. It's a complete digital solution designed to boost your station's reach and ad sales. To take your station's online experience to the next level, visit skyrocketradio.com.
All right, number 4 is to leverage visual hierarchy. You don't want things on the homepage that are really kind of out of order. Let's say you had your logo at the top, and then you wanted to put your big ticket item, your call to action right there, and then your menu down below. It doesn't really jive with 100% of the other websites out there, right? Normally it's maybe your logo, a banner ad, the menu, and then that call to action. All right, so your hero call to action, it could be a single striking image with a major announcement like your concert, contest, that sort of thing. We talked about the call to action a little while ago. Your navigation has to be on there, but it has to be simple and intuitive. If you have 100 different things in your navigation, it's going to start looking cluttered, like the homepage that we're saying don't be cluttered. But if your menu is cluttered, then you're going to get into those same kind of areas again. People are going to get frustrated because there's so many options to choose from. Maybe at that point, you start looking, okay, maybe we need to move some of this stuff into a different website. Let's say your radio station has a lot of advertising information on it. Well, perhaps you move all that advertising information over to a separate website that just targets those advertisers, rather than having that in there, kind of muddying up the waters for your listeners who come there on a daily basis to get your events and your contests and your news and that sort of thing. All right. So your navigation has to be clean, simple, and intuitive. Be sure that you showcase different sections there and you keep them kind of separate on your homepage to kind of break up the content to make scanning the homepage a whole lot easier. It's very, very difficult to read a website if you have 100 items here and 100 items here and then 200 items going across the bottom. It's it can be very, very overwhelming. And when people get overwhelmed, when they come to your website, they normally just check out and they don't want to return. That's just the way the psychology of web design goes. All right. Number 5 is contest and promotions. Sure, you want to be sure that when you're giving stuff away on air or either online, you want to be sure that those are listed there as well, because that's going to keep listeners engaged a whole lot longer. Dedicated a specific section of your homepage to your contest, your current and your upcoming contest. If there's going to be something difficult to enter, you may want to put clear instructions on how to enter on the homepage. For example, if a contest, you must be 21 or older to enter, go ahead and list that there. So when somebody gets to the contest page, they're not saying, "Oh, well, I can't enter this. I turn 21 next week." So, be sure that that kind of stuff is listed there as well, because then you don't want to frustrate somebody at any time on your station homepage. And then number 6 is to showcase advertisers, but do it strategically. Of course, ads are the revenue driver. We want for you to make more money with your radio station website, but ads shouldn't dominate the homepage. Use banner ads in prominent yet non-evasive positions throughout the homepage. Rotate the ads in those specific locations to keep the site fresh and fair for your sponsors. And then ensure the ads don't distract from your calls to action or the critical content that you want people to do. Again, what do you want them to do? You don't want ads to get in the way of that. Yes, you do want them to click on the ads, but you don't want, something just flashing in your face or whatever, and that's going to take away from the calls to action, because something like that flashing in your face all the time, it's really going to distract the listener. And again, when they get distracted and they get frustrated, they check out and they don't really want to return, right? So, but take all of these and see how, kind of measure your current homepage up against these. Do you have a lot of these elements on your homepages? If you do, that's awesome. Be sure that you're measuring the metrics and then evolve over time. Use Google Analytics to see what sections of your site visitors engage with the most. If you find that visitors engage with your obituaries a whole lot more than your news, you may want to make that obituary section on your homepage a little bit bigger, and maybe not bigger than the news, and put your news over to the side in the sidebar rather than vice versa. All right, test your call to action to improve conversion rates. That means you may want to set up in Google Analytics specific goals that are tied to specific links that your calls to action link to. That way you can see, okay, how many people are clicking on these calls to actions. And if they're not, maybe we need to change up the message on the call to action, or we need to maybe change some colors or switch an image or two or something like that. And then adjust all of the content based on your listener preferences and the station priorities. All right. So again, you don't want your radio station homepage to be static, but you don't want it to be showing everything that the radio station it's doing. Again, it's all about showing the right things at the right times, and to not let your website be stale, and just to keep it fresh. Remember that first impressions, they really do matter. And not only first impressions, but lasting impressions, because you do want listeners to come back to your homepage day after day, week after week, month after month. All right. So try to prioritize specific actions that you want to do. Keep the design clean, highlight engaging content, and create a homepage that not only represents your station, but actively connects with your listeners. That's what it's all about. And we hope this information helps you. Please like, subscribe, and share this content out with your radio colleagues. We do so much appreciate that. And hey, if you need help engaging listeners with your radio station website, we'd love to help you. Just reach out to us at skyrocketradio.com. Have an awesome week online making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.